So, I'm out here in Jackson County, Michigan, in the southeast corner of Jackson County, Michigan, about 70 miles to the west of Detroit, just off of I-94. And I'm at the base of a hill called Sackrider Hill. And my buddy Gary Clark suggested I do this little bit, and it was a great idea. We both spent some time growing up around here, he in Grass Lake and me in Chelsea. And anyway, it's kind of a cool story, and it's up that hill, so let's go take a look. Okay, running up that hill was a bad idea. Before I get moving too long, upon the run, I realized I got Gary Clark's childhood town mixed up. He grew up in Vandercook Lake, not Grass Lake. Anyway, so you see behind me this cross. Before I get to that, though, a little bit of background of where we are. So, Sackrider Hill is in the Waterloo Recreation Area. The Waterloo Recreation Area is about 20,000 acres. It's built up mostly of failed farms of the post-Depression era, kind of state bottom up, turned it into a nice recreation area. It's beautiful out here. And I'm on this hill, which sits about 1,100 feet elevation, which is really high. If you're from Michigan, you realize that we live kind of in an outwash plain. The southeastern Michigan in particular, is an outwash plain from glacial deposits. Well, right around here in the Waterloo area, there's a lot of more glacial formations, and we're on one of them, where the soil kind of leaked through and caused this big mound. This is the biggest one around, and a lot of kettle lakes all around here too. Anyway, I don't want to bore you. So in 1840, Christian and Jane Sackrider came from New York, made their way through Detroit, and came out here to Grass Lake. To give you a little bit of perspective on where we are, Chelsea is about 9 miles that way, Jackson's about 9 or 10 miles that way, Grass Lake's about 3 miles that way. When I say that way, I mean to the south, Jackson to the west, Chelsea to the east. Anyway, they came up here, and then that's why it's called Sackrider Hill. But what's cool about it is since 1930, every Easter at sunrise, at the moment of sunrise, some congregations from Grass Lake come up here, and they have religious ceremonies, which is really cool. And they've been doing it every year since 1930. In 1938, the Reverend George Bernard came up here, and he, of course, is the person who wrote the old hymn, not that old, the old Rugged Cross. So he was there for that too, which is kind of cool. And that's the cross over there. The cross was brought up by the congregations every year. They'd bring that thing up, and they'd sit it here, and then they'd take it down and do it again next year. Well, in 1950, they decided to put up a permanent cross, and over there. And when it would deteriorate after a couple of years, they'd put a bigger one up, and a bigger one, and a bigger one. And that kept going till 1968, until somebody stole that rascal. And that's no good. So then they put up a permanent structure, and that deteriorated. And I don't know what iteration of that one it is, but there it is. And it's kind of cool. The Ann Arbor News did a story on this, I think, in 1992, and people around Michigan or around this area might remember it. So they told a story similar to what I'm telling, and they talked about the cross and showed the cross. Because when it was stolen in 1968, the DNR came up and put up another one, helped put up another one. Well, of course, that got somebody ruffled in the ACLU, or somebody said, you can't do that, and said there's a separation of church and state issue, and they took him to court. And thank God, I don't know if we do this anymore, the court just said, oh, shut up, and they let him do it. And since then, the DNR his I think something like a Christian retreat area, and they all take care of it, the churches do, and it's cool, so it's really okay. Also in 1958, I think 57, 58, there was a murder here. A Jackson High School girl was killed by her boyfriend up here. So on midnight, if you listen very carefully, nah, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'd like to show you more. When I was a younger man, this used to be a makeout joint, but when I was a younger man, you could see forever, and you can't anymore. And I'm saddened because I was hoping to come up here and show you these great vistas, but they're not there anymore. Anyway, so that's the Sackrider Hill. I hope it was somewhat interesting and not boring. If you want to see more of these, come visit our website at stunt3.com. We have our feature-length documentaries there, things like The Girl in Center Field, which you would love, Black and Blue, Running Strong. But also, if you find the menu that says mini docs, you'll see a bunch of these documentaries shot with my iPhone, one man, one camera in under 15 minutes. Go check them out, and we'll see you next time. And I've got some interesting things coming up, so take care.